Good evening and happy Monday. I'm student meteorologist Sammy Squires.
And I'm student meteorologist Jessica Kirk.
Well, today marks the last day of September, and we have had only a trace of rain all month.
And it has been extremely hot, one of the hottest Septembers on record in Tallahassee. I mean, just brutal.
I mean, very, very dry conditions. That's why our drought monitor is showing we're in a drought right now because no rain and the heat.
And it doesn't seem to be going away in the next few days. We're going to have some relief here in the next week or so. Yes, as we'll show later in the show. But of course, we're still sitting here baking in the sun for the next day or two.
Yeah, well, pretty much the whole week too. We're going to be seeing 90s, which for September, it's a little bit above average. We're not used to seeing, mid 90s at this time of year.
It still feels like summer, basically. And, fall's not coming yet. We're in Florida, Sunshine State.
And later in the show, we will also talk about how some of us in Montana actually got snow this weekend.
I'm not ready for snow, but
we won't be getting any snow in Tallahassee.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Although, we'll kind of talk about that contrast, how we're receiving 90s and in Montana they are receiving snow. But for now, Jonathan is going to go over the overview with us.
Thank you, Sammy. So right now we're going to start with a live look over Doak Campbell Stadium, where our Seminoles are fresh off of a hot win on Saturday evening. Speaking of hot conditions, it is scalding outside. We are at a solid 95, but as you get closer to the coast where you have that sea breeze, it's a little bit cooler. Up in Georgia in the lower 90s, Tallahassee right at a solid 95. We're going to go ahead and look at the satellite and radar, which you'll see it is bone dry. That is some ground clutter over there, but we're basically hot and dry. That's been the theme for the month of September, and that's going to keep going. So tonight we're going to be mostly clear and warm at a solid 74 degrees, a little bit of a breeze. It's going to be a solid evening to get out there, go out to Cascades Park, enjoy a picnic. And then for the next 3 days, it's going to be hot and dry, as we said. 92, 92, 94. Basically a chance of a stray shower. Coming up later on the show, another week in the 90s, rain chances are on the horizon, and we had a record-breaking system in the Atlantic over the weekend. We'll get to that more on later.
All right, so we're taking a look at the southeast right now. A little bit of rain moving through the southern half of Florida, although not much going on due to a high pressure system we have over the region. Temperatures warming up from those 70s early on, all the way into the high 90s. Montgomery, Alabama seeing 97, 96 now, while New Orleans is still at 90 degrees. Looking at Florida, you can see some parts are in the 80s still. So it's making it a little bit more comfortable than we are here in Tallahassee of 95 degrees. Although these dew points are more on the oppressive side, seeing New Orleans at 70, also Orlando at 70, while Tallahassee is at 66. All around though, it's a little on the uncomfortable side if you are out there. It's feeling very sticky, although it is very warm. Seeing these the heat indices at 98 degrees for Tallahassee and Montgomery, Atlanta 94, all around seeing these in 90s. So the Orlando temperatures were in the 80s. The heat index brings them up to the 90s, so it's just hot out there. We have this high pressure system that is over the entire southeast, keeping the rain out of our region. Although there could be some rain creeping in from the corners near Jacksonville tomorrow in the afternoon hours. And then later in the week, we do have a cold front bringing cooler temperatures, receiving lots of rain, stretching through the Great Lakes right now with that front. So we'll keep an eye on that as rain will approach our area, which will be a relief because we are seeing lots of drought conditions right now in the moderate side for Tallahassee, while parts of Atlanta are on the severe side. And even in central Alabama, seeing extreme drought conditions. All around, we are very dry. We only had a trace of rain for Tallahassee, and that only puts us in the moderate scale. So we'll kind of take a look on that for how much rain would be nice to see to help out our drought conditions. For tonight's forecast, 73 degrees for Tallahassee. New Orleans seeing 77 degrees, a little on the warmer side, while South Florida seeing 75 for Tampa, and over in Miami, 79 degrees. Pretty warm night and a pretty warm day for tomorrow as well. 95 for Tallahassee. Montgomery, you're going to be pushing 100 tomorrow, 98 degrees. And Jackson, Mississippi, 96 degrees. We're seeing lots of 90s on the board, and these 90s are here to stay at least for the next few days. But now Chris is going to give us a closer look at the local.
Thank you, Sammy. Moving on to our current conditions as they come up here a little late. Currently it's 95 degrees. It was 96 earlier today, which actually ties our record high for September, for the last day of September. So going in. Currently our dew points are in the mid 60s and they're close to the 70s as 69 in St. Mark's and even 75 degrees in Carabel. That it will raise our heat indexes and make it feel very warm throughout most of the Tallahassee area tonight. Get a look at our water vapor, upper level vapor. We have very dry conditions that are in this area, and that is due to the high pressure system that has been persisting over the southeast for the last few weeks that have been keeping us dry and keeping us in the drought. Moving into our future cast, you see this high pressure system that I was talking about earlier was staying over the area. You could see some storms creeping in over Jacksonville, possibly impacting us for tomorrow. But the big story is, for this weekend, this cold front may be coming through our area, bring us some much needed rain and possible relief for these high temperatures that have been persisting for the month of September. Getting a glimpse at tonight in Tallahassee, it will be 74 degrees, mostly calm, clear winds, winds 3 miles an hour coming out of the east. Moving into tomorrow's forecast is going to be 92 degrees, hot and sunny. Got winds coming out of the east-northeast at 11 miles an hour. Be prepared, it's going to be another warm week in the 90s. Make sure you stay hydrated, drink tons of water. Be staying with it, as in you're going to be, tomorrow you might have a little bit of rain showers, bring us a little bit of relief coming out of the east. However, it will be staying 92, 93 degrees tomorrow, as it's going to persist in that area, actually warm up Thursday, Friday to 94, and possibly might actually be 95 degrees on Friday. Your lows are going to be in the 70s, and as you can see this weekend, we will be cooling off as that cold front moves in through the area. But for now, I'm going to send things off to the desk with Tyler and Jonathan as they're going to talk about the tropics.
Thanks, Chris. A better weekend in store for us here in Florida. But we're actually going to move on to Lorenzo, a record-breaking Category 5 hurricane in the Atlantic right now.
Yeah, so Lorenzo over this weekend became the strongest hurricane in the area of the Atlantic it's been ever. It actually beat the old record by more than 10 degrees longitude. So this is the first time ever that a hurricane has been this far east. It reached max wind speeds of 160 miles per hour, and now it is down to 105. So it's now down to a Category 2, but it's still heading for some land, right, Tyler?
Yeah, it is actually heading for some land. Right now, tracking northeast at about 10 miles per hour, on track to either hit or pass by the Azores. And then even we can see the cone. You can't quite see it on screen right now, but possibly even threatening parts of Ireland and the UK. But it's still fairly far out, so that cone of uncertainty, that's what we call it here, still not 100% sure where it's going to end up hitting as we start getting towards the UK and Ireland.
Yeah, by the time it'll reach the UK and Ireland, it won't necessarily be a strong hurricane, but it will be an extra tropical cyclone. And so what that means is that it still has a lot of the impacts. It may necessarily be a little bit weaker. But the main thing with this particular storm as it heads towards the Azores is going to be the wave heights. There are currently waves measured over 50 feet in the Atlantic with this storm, and that is enough to capsize a boat. And I know there was already a rescue mission that the hurricane hunters had to go on with this boat.
Yeah, actually last week we talked about it here on the show that some people got stuck inside of Lorenzo. A Norwegian ship actually sailed in the middle of Lorenzo, so the hurricane hunters had to go and do a rescue operation for them. But going back to the threat of the swelling, really all throughout the Atlantic basin, that's the main threat with Lorenzo for those areas not quite in the path of the storm. Possible rip currents. I know even here on the East Coast we have a small craft advisory.
Yeah, so it's creating massive waves and swells throughout the entire Atlantic. That's going to be the biggest impact from this system. Other than that, it's pretty quiet in the Atlantic, other than this record-setting storm. So
yeah, just the small craft advisory, but I'm going to head back to the wall now. I'm going to bring it back to the National. I'm going to give us a wider look at everything that's going on. One last look at Lorenzo there, heading towards the northeast at 105 miles per hour currently. Expected to gradually weaken over time, but here's our national view. Going to be 95 degrees in Tallahassee. All throughout the southeast, fairly warm temperatures. As we move towards the northwest, a little bit cooler. We can see the cold front right here. All the air behind it, a little bit cooler. Billings at 45 degrees. Seattle looking nice at 59 degrees, just partly cloudy skies. Then Denver at 76. And then as we track towards the northeast, Boston's going to be 58. Very comfortable temperatures there, as well as Washington, D.C. at 72. Looking great for pretty much everyone besides the panhandle of Florida and those southern regions of Alabama and Georgia. And looking at our dew points, behind the cold front, very dry air. That's pretty much what cold fronts do. They bring the moisture in front of them and leave behind them absolutely no moisture really to speak of. Denver having a dew point of 42 degrees. And as we move towards the southeast, that's why we have some more of these brutal temperatures, more brutal heat indices. Tallahassee having a dew point of 66 degrees. New Orleans at 70. And then getting down to Miami also having that dew point of 70 degrees. But Boston, fairly comfortable once again with those dew points at 46 degrees. Some chilly temperatures for them in September, but nothing to really complain about there. This is where the cold front's tracking right now, going to continue to push forward towards the center of the country. And then here in the southeast, high pressure system is what's dominating most of our weather. That's why we've had mostly clear skies and not really anything to cool us off. As we start getting towards South Carolina and North Carolina, a little bit more rain by the stationary front over there to help cool them off just a little bit. Severe weather outlook, not really much to speak of overall, just a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms going through Kansas, starting to stretch into Iowa, and then even getting into northern Illinois and Wisconsin, and then tracking through Michigan into New York. I know central parts of Iowa actually expecting some downpours tomorrow. And then looking at our watches and warnings, flood warnings all throughout, close to the Mississippi River over here by St. Louis. And then we have flash flood watches for these areas that are under that severe, the threat of a marginal severe storm. Might have some flash flooding there from all the rainfall. And as we get towards Colorado, actually have red flag warnings there from all the dry air. More risk to have some fires spark up there. And then as we get towards the northwest, a little bit colder, so they have some freeze warnings. And as I mentioned earlier, small craft advisory all throughout the east coast of the Atlantic. For tonight, going to be fairly comfortable in the southeast, Tallahassee at 73, Atlanta at 74, and once again, the northwest is going to be cooler. Denver going to be 46, might see some rainfall there, and then moving towards Salt Lake City, 40, San Francisco getting down to 51 degrees, and then Boston, not going to be much different from what they feel right now at 54 degrees. And then for tomorrow, pretty much the same story. The cold front's going to push forward a little bit more, bring some more cooler temperatures for central parts of the country. For the southeast, very similar temperatures to what we saw today. Tallahassee at 95 degrees, Atlanta at 93. Getting into Detroit and Chicago, even they're staying warm at 87 and 83 degrees. And then moving a little bit more westwards, Albuquerque, New Mexico, going to be at 81. And then LA and San Francisco, absolutely beautiful, 74 degrees, 69 degrees in San Francisco, and then Seattle at 63 degrees and sunny, although they're going to see some rain a little bit later on in the week. And then our coolest spot here, Billings at 38 degrees. But now we're going to pass things off to Jessie. She's going to give us a second local look of the evening.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Yeah, guys, it was another beautiful day. You can see that sun setting just beautifully right over Doak Campbell Stadium. But it was another hot day with temperatures in the 90s. And it's still going to be a warm night, although it is going to cool off enough that if you have the chance, go spend some time outside. take advantage of that weather dipping down as little as it might be. So tonight we actually hit 96, 97 degrees. So we're tying or nearly breaking a record from 1934. So this is incredibly hot for this time of the year. We just hit fall and we're still seeing summer temperatures. Our low for tonight is going to be 69, so this is a lot warmer than our record low of 40. And we're definitely looking forward to seeing some cooler temperatures as we near the beginning of next week. There's absolutely nothing on the satellite currently. You can see a little bit of ground cover off near Defuniak Springs, Panama City, and then even a little bit popping up just north of us in Valdosta. But this is just ground clutter, so this is not rain. It's just the satellite and radar picking up some other stuff, interfering with that. We have absolutely no relief currently, thanks to this high pressure system that's been sitting over the southeast, just absolutely making it just so hot for the panhandle, keeping that rain away, keeping that cool weather away. But thankfully, we're going to see this cold front. As you can see just behind me, you can see this beautiful line of rain that's heading for us. And although I call it a cool front because we're not going to see the cold temperatures that we hope that a cold front would bring. We are going to see temperatures nearing the high 80s, which is going to be a lot better than what we've been dealing with. As we go into tonight, we're going to be looking at temperatures in the mid 70s. It's going to be a clear night and it's going to be beautiful. Not much of a breeze, just wind out of the east at 3 miles per hour. Definitely take advantage of that. Enjoy the cool down from today's 96, 97 degree weather. It's going to be a huge change of pace. Tomorrow, we're going to see some more warm weather. By noon, we're going to hit 88 degrees. Even tomorrow morning, it's going to be fairly warm in the mid-70s for that 8 a.m. class. As we near tomorrow evening, we're hoping to see a little bit of clouds, which is going to help cool us off just a little bit. And tomorrow night at 8, we're looking at 86 degrees, which is fairly warm for that late at night. Once again, first day of October, still looking just about like summer here in the Sunshine State. As for the next 7 days, we're looking at a little bit of a rain chance for tomorrow, although the big story is looking at Sunday and Monday. As you can see, we're going to have, this is when that cold front's reaching us. Temperatures are going to fall, albeit slightly, and we might even see lows reaching the 60s next week, which I am looking forward to. So we're going to pass it back to the desk now for Tyler and Sammy.
Yeah, so that same front that is actually heading towards us dumped a bunch of snow over the Rockies over the weekend.
Yeah, just 1 week after summer ended in Montana, they got a bunch of snow. Northern Rockies received a lot of snow as well. That was the main area that really got hit there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not uncommon to see snow at this time of year, but they received so much snow. 40 inches in some places. I know Saturday broke a 65-year record of over 9 inches, and that was in Browning, Montana. So it's just interesting to see how much snow they've received, and it's not even October yet.
Yeah, they've reported blizzard-like conditions through a lot of the states in the Northwest. And even now, they're still at freezing temperatures, not seeing the snow anymore. That is all over after the weekend wrapped up, but still very, very cold in those regions. Pretty much the opposite of what we're feeling like in Florida right now.
Oh, yeah. And it will be nice once that front finally reaches us to at least drop our temperatures a little bit. The European model was hinting at temperatures in the mornings being in the 60s, but for now, it's actually producing flooding-like conditions across the majority of the U.S.
Yeah, so luckily, well, not luckily for them, that's not good for the more central regions of the country that receive more rain for us, but we're still in that moderate drought, so seeing those rain chances pick up just a little bit this week is always a good sign. And then those temperatures getting down into the 80s later on this weekend. I think 88 was the high for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, getting to the point too of through the southern Rockies all the way to the Great Lakes, they could have flooding between now and the 3rd. So the same storm is just going across the U.S., which bringing its pros and cons with it. You know, the snow, whether that's pro or con for the Rockies, it gives them a little early start to the winter season.
Yeah, for them, winter starting during the first week of fall. Meanwhile, we're lagging behind. We're still stuck in summer right now. We're in pretty much like 2 separate times of the year almost. They're super wintertime weather, super summertime weather here. That's really the difference between the northwest and the southeast of the U.S. right now.
Yeah, we really do need that heavy system to come through our area. But for now, we're going to take it back over to around Florida.
Thank you, Sammy. Currently, with a view of the satellite radar, is very dry over North Florida, as we've been talking about, because of the high pressure system that has been dominating the area. But as you can see, the high pressure systems that was bringing in these clockwise winds is bringing in a bit of scattered showers out around Central Florida, around Tampa and Jacksonville, a bit south of Jacksonville. For a look at our current conditions right now, North Florida is sitting very warm. Tallahassee, 95 degrees. Or as you move a bit south, ironically, you actually get a little bit cooler, as it's 84 degrees in West Palm Beach, where they were getting that rain. Let's cool them down. Getting a look at our dew points right now. We are very high dew points, which is making it feel extremely hot right now, because of that extra humidity is really trapping the heat and making us sweat a lot. It's not the most pleasant of weather currently right now as we're experiencing. Getting a look at our future cast, as you can see the high pressure system as it slowly moves out of the region, you can get a look at this long cold front in between these two low pressure systems that will be slowly moving on, as this front will extend all the way down over here by North Texas, as it eventually moves into our area, hopefully bringing us much needed relief for all the southeast. As we're going to be moving on to our drought monitor, as most of North Florida is going to be covered in this moderate drought. You even have a bit of a severe drought by Funiac Springs, as well as all the rest of Florida is currently very dry conditions. As we're moving on to tonight's forecast, we're going to be in the 70s most areas, sitting nice and pretty at 73 degrees in Tallahassee, as it's a little bit warmer out by the coast, where there is more moisture in the atmosphere, which is going to be keeping it warm. It's going to be 79 degrees in Miami. For tomorrow's forecast in Pensacola, 9 a.m. it's going to be 78 degrees, noon 89, 3 p.m. it's going to warm up to 91. As we start moving into Jacksonville's forecast for tomorrow, you're going to wake up 9 a.m. 81 degrees. It's going to warm up to about 86 degrees at 3 p.m. and you may be getting an afternoon storm, which will keep you cool. Tomorrow's forecast for Orlando, 80. It's going to warm up to around 87 by 3 p.m. As we start moving into Naples, it's going to be 80, and then once again making its way up to around 91 degrees by 3. But for now, I'm going to send things off to Tyler with one last local look.
Thanks, Chris. Looking at our live, well, actually our desk, but now we're back at the live FSU weather stand here, Doak Campbell Stadium. The sun is setting, just a couple of clouds there in the background, but looking great. Not necessarily feeling great though, fairly hot outside right now at about 6:24 p.m. Currently, we're at 95 degrees, partly cloudy. Unfortunately, we're not seeing any of these rainbows in the sky right now. There's winds coming out of the east-northeast at about 11 miles per hour. And then moving on to the Big Bend region, our heat indices. Now, Tallahassee feels like 98 degrees right now. St. Mark's also feeling 98. And then Carabel even feeling like 99. But luckily, none of the cities here in the Big Bend are getting into the 100-degree heat indices. And then as we move up till Thomasville and Valdosta, not feeling too bad. They're at 92 and 93 degrees respectively. And our dew points showing us here towards the coastline a lot higher. That's why a lot of those regions closer to the coastline have higher heat indices. So Carabel having that dew point of 75 degrees. So it feels muggier outside, but they still have a little bit of a breeze going. So with those hotter heat indices, they still have the breeze to help cool them off a little bit. So even though you see those very high numbers, it's not quite a terrible, terrible case for those people along the coastline. And then getting into Thomasville and Valdosta, still fairly moist conditions, but not quite as moist as towards the coastline. Over the next 48 hours, tomorrow might see a spotty shower coming through the area, and then get to Wednesday night, very clear conditions, and then getting into Wednesday afternoon, once again, maybe have a chance for a spotty shower, but those showers are going to be more located towards the southeast regions of the Big Bend, towards Perry. And then looking at our drought monitor, we could really use that rain. A little bit more than spotty showers would be helpful, but anything would help. Tallahassee in a moderate drought right now. And then moving towards Funiac Springs, they're actually in a severe drought. And then pretty much all of the northern parts of Florida still dry, even if they aren't quite in those drought conditions. For tonight, going to get down to 74 degrees, mostly clear and warm. Winds going to come from the east at 3 miles per hour, so very calm conditions. And then looking at your Tuesday planner, going to get up to 92 degrees by 4 p.m. That's going to be your high. And then getting into 8 p.m., still going to be fairly warm at 86 degrees, but a great start to the morning at 74 degrees. Over the next 7 days, going to expect just a few rain chances for Tuesday and Wednesday at 20 and 10% respectively. Temperatures are going to pick up a little bit towards the middle of the week. On Thursday, getting up to 94 degrees, and Friday up to 94 as well without those rain chances. But look at Sunday and Monday, going to cool down a lot, getting down to 88 degrees on Saturday, 88 degrees on Sunday, 87 degrees on Monday with those rain chances picking up. But now I'm going to pass things off to Chris and Jessica, and they're going to close out the show for us.
Thank you so much, Tyler. And I just wanted to start out by saying welcome to student meteorologist Jonathan for his first time on the show. He did a great job. It's really nice to have a new face around here.
Yeah, he definitely did better than my first time on the show.
Yeah, for real. Me too.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he hasn't done the show before, but he did really good. Like he might have done it like a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
But let me tell you, I am so looking forward to the cooler weather that cold front is bringing towards the beginning of next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Hoping we get some rain. Hoping we get down not in the 90s. Cool down at
Right.
haven't been in the 80s, but we have to live through one last week of the 90s.
Yeah,
so.
well, hey, we have a bye week this weekend, no home games, so if you've got nothing to do, use that time to go to the beach. We've got a few more warm days left.
Yeah.
Definitely bring that sunscreen, definitely stay hydrated. But we're looking like great weather on Friday and Saturday. Sunday and Monday, we might have those showers, but hopefully it would be the perfect beach day. Definitely go out. I know I'm going to the beach this weekend, so I don't know if you're planning to do anything, but
I currently don't have any plans. I might go to the beach this weekend.
You should totally go to the beach.
It's definitely a good weekend to go to the beach with 93.
It's still going to be warm enough to go to the beach for a few more weeks, us being here in Florida, but definitely go to the beach. Spend the weekend outside. It's going to be beautiful. Yeah. I'm looking forward to those lows getting a little bit cooler, too, as we head into next week.
I mean, our lows are in the 70s. That's actually pretty good running condition if you enjoy running closer in the later hours of the day. Around like 6 p.m., definitely run with a buddy. You don't want to be running out alone.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But those lows feel really nice for going outside.
Yeah, finally starting to feel like fall here in the Panhandle. Absolutely cannot wait to have that fall weather here finally. It has been a long summer.
Yeah, it's been a long summer. I mean, fall started. This whole September has been record-breaking. But for right now, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU weather.
Yeah, don't forget to like us on Facebook. And don't forget to share your cool photos with us.
Yeah, watch live on YouTube at youtube.com/FSU weather.
And then follow us on Instagram at FSU weather. And like I said, share your photos with us. Even if you're not from Tallahassee, we love to see some snow pictures.
For here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Crystal.
And I'm student meteorologist Jessica Kirk. Have a great night, Seminoles.